Yeah, look, I've got the Forest Practices Act, Part 2, which refers to private timber reserves, and there can be revoking of the private timber reserve at the instigation of the authority, but it doesn't. It's not necessarily that cannot be changed. So Mr. Donovan has been, it's Donovan, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. Mr. Donovan's talking about that going with the title. That doesn't mean that it cannot be changed. So it's not the same for Forest Practices Board. Timber Reserve Forest Practices Plan. Sorry, the lingo's a bit strange. It's not necessarily the same Forest Practices Plan. It can be altered. So
the harvesting plan that I've signed off on.
you have signed off on that. Yep,
Yes.
that's right, and that goes with the title. But it can be altered over time, and the council doesn't have any jurisdiction over that.
So
Well, I've been told that I was told by the forestry people that was it. That what I signed off on is what.
So that means in perpetuity, it can never be removed from that land.
It can be removed on my request or their request, or if they want to. But as far as it being changed, the harvesting plan,
Okay.
that plan has to stay.
Okay.
So somebody can't come in and clear fell.
Okay. So
They can't use a D9 and.
yeah. So then, if they choose to keep the private timber reserve on the title, they have to maintain the existing plan.
That's
Okay, but they could, if they wanted to, take off that
Yes,
private timber
exactly.
reserve
Yep.
and make it into whatever.
And in years to come, I may change my mind and sort of decide to take it off.
Okay, all right.
But right now, it's good for me in relation to managing my property.
And you have to stick to that. You can't vary that.
No, that's right.
Yeah, all right. We have one more question up here with the
My question was to Mick Swanton. Mick, if you were in Kevin's situation, what would your approach to be to this? And are there any other solutions for him to do what he wants to do?
Kevin's situation or Patrick's situation?
Patrick, sorry.
Look, as I alluded to earlier, Patrick owns a very unique piece of land that's of concern to community and to Patrick. Let's be fair. Let's take the blinkers off. Is it of such value that the community feels that it should buy that land and adjunct it to the Wellington Park Trust? And I'm not trying to influence anybody in here. I'm trying to be as pragmatic as I possibly can and give people other options other than line in the sand options. If we can take the blinkers off and try and work down paths that are beneficial to both parties, I'll rephrase that, all parties, then it's a successful outcome. So I hope I've answered the question. It is unique. Patrick recognises it's unique, but he also wants to be cost effective and self-sufficient and to be able to have an autonomy that's to do with him. And it's very difficult treading that line, trying to appease everybody, but that's what I think we should try and do. Oh, sorry, thank you. Under the current planning scheme. That's the bottom line. Let's not kid ourselves, despite what has been said, that once it's out of the control of the planning scheme, sorry, it's carte blanche. Whether it's this generation, the next generation, or the generation after that, it's carte blanche. Because in reality, a minister can tick a box and all of those undertakings with the tick of the box can be done away with. That's the reality.
Excuse me. Can you cite some cases where that's happened?
No, but in terms of, you're looking for tort, and I can't give you tort, but if it's taken out of the hands of the planning scheme, it's quite obvious.
So we're talking hypotheticals?
No, we're not. We're not talking tort.
The minister can tick the box. I'd like you to give concrete examples where that's happened.
You have a response from a planner or a general manager that actually says that, and that's my tort. That's what I'd be relying on.
the council's concerns and response.
Yeah.
Right. In the middle here?
Catherine Sullivan, I'm from Leeson Court. I just want to clarify then, if, Patrick, can you, with the advice of Steve Bresnahan, is it, would you be able to manage the fall and wattle trees under the current planning setup? Is that a possibility?
The way I understand it, if I indulge in some sort of forestry activity, harvesting trees, whether they stand or fall, I need to operate under Forest Practices Code.
So, I guess we're not quite sure what Patrick has in mind, whether he has in mind to how many trees he's going to cut down. If there's going to be more than just making sure that the trees that have fallen are not a fire risk. We don't actually know how many trees he's going to cut down. And maybe when he organises the timber reserve and he gets a plan for harvesting, he might specify in that how many trees he intends to cut down. But until that happens, we don't actually know how many trees he wants to cut down.
So Patrick, is it possible to give us an indication of what sort of number of trees or tonnage of timber would be coming out of the reserve on a yearly basis?
Well, the maximum I can take out is 100 tonnes.
100 tonnes per year.
Kevin's allowed 150 tonne on 80 acres. I've got 150 acres, so, you know, as the letter to the editor said, the sky hasn't fallen in.
So how much does a tree weigh, Patrick?
Well,
For us ladies?
How long's a piece of string?
Yeah, I realise, but, you know.
Can I give you some idea?
Yeah,
Okay, hang on.
Kevin probably knows because he's 5.
But, I mean, if I can give you some idea of, in this harvesting plan, there's a section here, section D, conservation and other values, and it says prescription to manage and avoid or minimise disturbance to flora, fauna, geographic, archaeological and landscape values. The fauna, the harvest area is possible foraging habitat for the swift parrot. The main patch of blue gum, or whatever you want it, on the southern boundary will be retained. See the map, a map's a tag. On the remainder of the harvest area, preference will be given to retaining all blue gum, especially the old growth. Landscape, 70% of the stems to be retained along the northern edge of the harvest area. See the map. This edge forms part of the skyline when looking south from the Hobart northern suburbs. At least 50% of stems to be retained on the balance of the harvest area, higher retention on more sparsely stocked areas. So, I mean, it's pretty detailed what you can do and what you can take, and I mean, I won't bore people by going through with all the details.